Just imagine, in America's historic presidential election, a Kennedy suddenly returns. But this time, not as a Republican or a Democrat, will Robert F. Kennedy Jr. ruin the game in 2024 or save it. Spoiler or savior? Watch till the end to know the full story. One of the biggest truths about American politics is that for decades, only two major parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, have taken turns holding power. This two-party system has given American democracy an appearance of stability, but it has also trapped voters within limited choices. For years, people have complained that both parties are deeply tied to corporate interests, powerful lobbies, and the establishment, which means real change never comes on critical issues like healthcare, education, and economic inequality. Now, with the 2024 election around the corner, the political heat is already rising. Donald Trump is seen as a strong contender within his party, while President Biden is all set to run for re-election. But what if a third powerful candidate steps in and changes the entire game? That's RFK Jr.'s wild card. He's reminding traditional voters that this two-party monopoly no longer represents the people's real desires. That's exactly why his entry has sparked fear in political circles. What if this shakeup ends up helping an unexpected candidate? In America, the Kennedy name is not just about a political family, it's a symbol of hope, youthful leadership, and political martyrdom. John F. Kennedy's presidency and his brother Robert F. Kennedy's politics are still remembered in golden words in American history. JFK's charismatic personality, his visionary ideas, and RFK's fight for social justice turned the Kennedy name into a kind of brand. This is the legacy that benefits RFK Jr. When he speaks, people hear echoes of his father in his voice. His style reflects the Kennedy family's democratic spirit. But this strength is also a challenge. Some people only take him seriously because of the family name, while critics say he's just cashing in on that legacy. Yet, the truth is that a large number of Americans still see the Kennedy name as a symbol of positive change. This name sets RFK Jr. apart from other independent candidates and gives his campaign a unique appeal that's hard to ignore. American election history is full of moments when a third candidate didn't win outright but did decisively impact the results. Such a candidate is called a spoiler because their entry splits votes that would otherwise go to a major party. That fear now surrounds RFK Jr. as well. Many political analysts believe most of his voters will be people who traditionally vote Democratic, young people, the educated, moderate, and those disillusioned with the establishment. If these voters choose RFK Jr. instead of Biden or another Democratic candidate, then just a few thousand votes in swing states could flip the entire result. That's why there's real concern within the Democratic Party about his presence as an independent candidate. While some see RFK Jr. as a spoiler, his supporters see him as a true savior, a leader challenging the broken structure of American politics. His message is mainly against the establishment, corporate interests, and big pharmaceutical companies. RFK Jr. has repeatedly said in his campaign that the health, freedom, and rights of the people are controlled by huge lobbies and corrupt institutions. His strong stance on COVID vaccines and government policies has made him controversial, but that same stance has made him a hero for millions of Americans tired of politics as usual. He says he wants to lead America back to the dream that John F. Kennedy once promised, a country driven by the people's power, not by self-serving institutions. The result of the US presidential election always comes down to a few key states, called swing states, states where neither Democrats nor Republicans have total dominance. Voters there often decide at the last minute, and in the past, tiny differences have flipped major outcomes. For example, states like Florida, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, and Georgia were decisive in the 2016 and 2020 elections. In America's political history, the rise of third-party or independent candidates is nothing new. But for them, the biggest challenge has always been the same. Winning is extremely difficult. The US Electoral College system is designed in favor of the two big parties, and when votes get split, the benefit still usually goes to them. For example, in 1992, Ross Perot, an independent, got about 19% of the popular vote. Still a huge example to this day. But even then, he didn't win a single electoral vote. Likewise, in 2000, Ralph Nader was called a spoiler because he split Democratic votes, which helped George Bush. For RFK Jr., this historical reality is also his biggest challenge. He might attract millions of voters and the media might stay hooked on his campaign, but the real question is whether he can build a strong enough ground game, state by state, to win the 270 electoral votes needed to become president. For him, just getting ballot access, putting his name on the ballot in every state, is a long and expensive process. So his actual impact may end up being less about winning outright and more about splitting votes and challenging both major parties, which has always been the ultimate test for independent candidates. No matter how controversial RFK Jr.'s popularity might be, it has made one thing very clear. Millions of American voters are now genuinely fed up with traditional politics, the establishment, and the two-party system. They feel unrepresented in a system controlled by big corporations, lobbies, and special interest groups, while the voice of the ordinary voter is lost. The younger generation especially is openly expressing this frustration. Their issues like climate change, healthcare, skyrocketing education costs, and voter rights often get ignored by both major parties. This gap gives a candidate like RFK Jr. the opportunity to present himself as the real voice of the people. His words don't sound like the usual political spin. They're straightforward, sometimes controversial, and feel real to voters who are tired of the same old talk. His rallies reflect that emotion. People want a leader who will stand up to big powers, even if it seems impossible. Institutionally, the US presidential election is always held on the first Tuesday of November. For the 2024 elections, that means but in reality, many experts say the real decision starts much earlier, especially during the primaries and by tracking voter trends in swing states. In the past few months, RFK Jr. has held large, energetic rallies, kept the media's attention, and even secured respectable positions in polls in some states, sending the message that he may not just be a spoiler, but could even be a symbol of hope for some. In the end, RFK Jr.'s campaign has sent a clear message to American politics. People are now truly fed up with the old two-party system, whether it's voter helplessness, establishment-driven policies, or the power of big pharma and corporate lobbies. A portion of the public now wants to try alternative leadership to challenge it all. RFK Jr. has kept alive the hope that even an independent candidate can stand up to this broken system. But the reality is that America's electoral college system has always been an obstacle for independence. His biggest test is how he turns his popularity into actual votes. Will he just split votes in swing states and make it easier for one big candidate? Or will he really mobilize voters in huge numbers and produce an unbelievable result? It's all in the hands of the voters now. RFK Jr. supporters don't see him as a spoiler, but as the system's real savior, someone who could give the old Kennedy dream a new life. The final decision will come in November 2024. Will that dream come true, or will traditional politics once again come out on top? If you enjoyed this video, please hit that, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.